do it on my stream. So you guys are gonna like look at, this nonsense because I don't know how to do it. But one thing I want to do just to look at something, just casually, I'm gonna pick a random game, a random survivor game. All right. And what I want to do is I'm gonna start playing it. And what I'm doing is I'm just scrubbing the timeline. Scrubbing the timeline is a term I teach communications. When you're clicking and dragging the play bar through the game, that's called scrubbing the timeline. So we spent a lot of time in a lobby in this particular one. So this is the Yamaoka match. This might actually be the Huntress match. I'm pretty sure it is. So here we are in Chase. Yeah, this is the Huntress Yamaoka match. So if you want to bring that up on a different screen, maybe, I don't know. Like I said, this is horribly inefficient. But you're on a gen, you're on the hill gen, and I'm on the gen right next to it. But there were like 4 gens like within like a handspan. So we're working on this gen, and then you're very. Oh, this is when you took that hit. Yeah. You took that hit because she tried to put him on that hook, and then you ran her away. She got away. You're in Chase. So this is at 9 minutes and 43 seconds into the stream, not in the game. And you're in Chase.
Well, not yes and no. We had time to go off and heal. So the chase didn't last very long. I remember that.
Yeah, they peeled off. They hit me, and we did the gen. So that chase, that's not a good measurement on the chase because she broke off you guys. Now she's on the Claudette. I'm going to start scrubbing the timeline again.
Yeah. And that was inefficient of me and the other individual. We should have ran right back in to work on a gen.
All right.
Hills were wanted, so hills.
Yeah, and that's tough, but that's kind of why I do this. I want to reach solo queue guys, and I know the feeling, but when you're oh, this is a bad chase on my part, but it's coming up. Okay, so I get was I injured before? So I was already injured. She threw a hatchet. There's one. So the chase started at 10 minutes and 38 seconds into the stream, not the game. And then I thought that was a vault, and it wasn't. So here I am thinking I'm slick. I'm gonna vault this, and then instead I jump in a locker, and then I jump out, and the chase is over at 10 minutes and 53 seconds. So that chase was only 15 seconds. That was a miserable, bad chase. You have not yet been in a chase. But up I go. Now you can extend it. Actually, I usually count, but I usually count it from when I'm found to when I'm on the hook. I stopped it when I went down, which is an unfair measurement, but even then, that was 11:29. That was a 41-second chase. It took that Huntress 15 seconds to down me, but then no crap, it actually took another. It's kind of weird how long it takes to get a hook. The longest part of a chase is usually getting the survivor to the hook, believe it or not.
Unless it's you and me who die right next to a hook. So.
Yeah, we're very helpful that way. But so that chase was actually 41 seconds, which is right where Dead by Daylight wants. And that's kind of what I wanted to do real quick just with this one game. You're still not in chase. You're coming to get me, I think. Yep, that's you coming to get me. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. Up there, you went down. So I'm going to go back. So you got hit at 12:12. And then you went down at 12:19, but again, it should go. So that was a 7-second chase from when you got found to when you got downed. And then there's the hook, and it counts. It's part of your chase. You're occupying the killer's time. All right. So your first hook started at 12:12 and ended at 12:32. So that was a 20-second chase. In my opinion, 40-second chases are good. 40-second chases are normal. Anything less than 40 seconds and you're not even doing no one would be doing what Dead by Daylight is expecting a chase to do. So that's your first hook. I think she came for me. Yeah, she came for me. So I'm going to wait again. I'm in chase. Or am I coming to get you? I was running, so I just thought, yeah, she's chasing Claudette. So here I come to get you. I don't think we had that many chases. There's your unhook. We're on the gen. She's throwing hatchets at us. We're gen rushing because we're toxic. She hooks him here. We get down. One of us has got to be in chase by now, right? Now, to be fair to you, when I'm timing this, I don't actually know when the chase begins. For all I know, like, she's looking around for you or whatever. But we don't know. We can't know. You're not in chase yet. Like, the little squiggly lines, that's not happening. So, you probably got the unhook there. That guy went down. You're on a gen. Oh, I'm going to the hill gen because we're trying to get that hill gen done. I think that was a good play. She tried to throw a thing at me. I didn't let her. I broke off. Yeah, man, there weren't a lot of chases going on. I picked a bad game to do this on, but, you know, it's just something worth doing. Now, that other guy's in chase. I think you go for the unhook. And I'm going for the gen. Yeah, that adds up. Someone is charging this way. I went down. So that chase, I'm already down at 15:29. She just hit me from across the map with a hatchet. You're getting on the gen. comes up there. All right, so 1551. That was only a 22-second chase. That was pathetic. You know? I think she's heading your way. I'm on my second hook. Okay, so, hold on. So, the squiggly lines show up for you at 8:16:21. You're in chase, and you're already injured because we play real bold. You're doing a good job. You're running around. I get pulled off the hook. She peels off you and continues. There it is. Now you went down. So she passively chucked a hatchet at the survivor who unhooked me and downed her, then turned around and got you. You got picked up.
I believe a hook was
A
right
gen
there.
got done. No, you're still in carry. There you go. 16:59. That was a 38-second chase. So not like it was bad because it wasn't 40 seconds, but it wasn't 20 seconds. It wasn't too far away from being terrible. You know, it wasn't too far away from being the required amount of chase time.
Mhm.
You're chilling on a hook. I got that other person up. She went down. So I went ahead and came around this way because I know she's going to protect it. That other person's going to come get you. And I get this gen done because I know you're getting healed. I got that gen done. I'm quite proud of that. But then I went down. So now if I go back, so she started trying to hit me at 17:42. Now, you can argue you're not in chase. That killer is focusing on me. I am occupying that killer's time. That means I did my job. I went down at 17:53. Now she's trying to have it both ways. So I'm crawling away, which again, she's going to have to come get me. And anything that takes up the killer's time, anything at all that takes up the killer's time is good. It is considered chase. Finally on the carry. And I'm out of the map. You're working on the last gen. So I went up at 18:23. So that was a 21-second chase. So that wasn't very good. It was good that I got the gen done, but I jumped off a hill, and that you escaped after that. So I jumped off the hill, and that you have that little exhaustion thing that happens.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that Huntress game was full of bad chases. We were not good in chase. I guess I could try to do one more random game. Do you have any? Do you have a game that you remember? Let's go one of the early games. Watch, this will be the Pinhead game or something. Okay, so we're in the Cold One Farm game. This is the Wesker game.
Wesker, cold wind. Can't remember if we won or lost this one.
We won that one. The team won that one at least. I think you and I are on the same gen. I got hit. So hold on, I gotta stop it because I glanced at my thing. All right, so the chase started at 6:06 in the game. I get thrown, I get hit, but I don't get injured. I don't think he even pursues this because it didn't give him credit for hitting the tree. I bet he was mad about that. So that got a gen done. And then I'm bold as you please, so I run at this other gen. Oh, you went down there, so some... Alright, so at some point in time here, you're... Okay, wait, hold on, I gotta go back one more time. You're in chase starting at 6:38. And this is against a Wesker. Undoubtedly one of the strongest guys in the game. You're not even hit yet. You're not even hit yet. 2 gens are done. Okay, you go down at 6:47. So that was 10 seconds, more or less. All right, 7:02. So that was a 24-second chase. You're still on the hook. You're still on the hook. You get unhooked. We're working gens. We did a good... So again, like, we attacked these 3 gens relentlessly. So for all I know in this game, and again, like, I don't know, but I don't have the volume on, but okay, so the other guy's in chase, but there was a lot of time. I think what you were doing is you were looking for the other side of a 3-gen because you knew there was a 3-gen somewhere, and you were trying to find a gen that would have been efficient. We're down to 1 gen. We get the gen done. So literally, like, you've been hooked once. At endgame, you've been hooked 1 time, and I hadn't even been hooked yet. In fact, he has 2 hooks to show when the 5th gen is done. So he had a rough day of it. Like, I'm very terrible at picking games. Now, I think we did a lot to try to get this guy out. That guy opened the door. I thought I did it, but then I'm like, oh, it wasn't me. Good. Yeah, man, this Wesker didn't have a good day. I don't know that there was a chase happening. Yeah, everyone got out. Yeah, so we only had 1 chase, but yeah, that chase was less than 40 seconds. And doing that, I don't know if we're gonna do this like every night, but doing that, here and there, at least puts us in a position to just kind of reflect. And our chases, even tonight, were less than par. So our gen efficiency is through the roof. We got room. We can do better on gens. You know. But I just wanted to, I know it's kind of boring. You're looking at this guy in the thing and you can't see it. One of these days, I got to be able to like stream on my computer, but then you can't. Well, I mean, I guess he could hear me, but you wouldn't be able to hear Ben. But every now and again, just taking a look at one or two games and being like, okay, how long were my chases? And if from when you were found to when you were hooked is 40 seconds, you did exactly what Dead by Daylight wants. So if it's longer than 40 seconds, you would have to call it good. And if it's shorter than 40 seconds, you would have to call it bad. And we had some bad chases, even though we had a good night. But I think that reflecting on tonight's games, a lot of the reasons why we were able to get out and we had a lot of wins was because we had, and I didn't look at their chases, but they were on gens.
Yeah.
And if you're in solo queue, then we need you on gens. Like if you're not in chase, you should really, really be on a gen. I don't personally buy off on boons. But if there is a boon, then go to the boon and heal. Don't ask someone else to. Just watch the streamers. When do they lose their Evelov and crap? It's when the gens are being done quickly. So what I hope that tells you is do the gens. Be on gens. Be pressuring the gens because that is their nightmare. That is what they're afraid of. That's why they have all their builds. They don't, sometimes they'll have like an anti-heal build, but more often the perks that are meta, and the meta perks are all gen regression perks. And when people say survive with friend is unfair or whatever they do, first off, if you're still winning, it's not unfair. You're being ridiculous. However, if what makes them angry is how quickly gens get done, Oddstarvo, watch his killer streak game. It just dropped. It's a fun video. I love Oddstarvo. He's awesome. But he was furious because those gens were flying. And when you're SWF, you're communicating and you're encouraging each other. Like, get on the gen, get on the gen. So when you're playing solo queue, I want you to imagine like one of your friends saying like, hey, get on the gen. And if you're in chase, I want you to be thinking like, hey man, I'm in chase, get on a gen. Because that is how you can contribute and make sure that you're dramatically increasing somebody's chance, maybe yours, but somebody's chance of getting out because you're either occupying the killer's time or using that time to be on a gen. And that's what you got to do. By all means, I give you the right. I give everyone like, hey, heal if you really got to heal. But if you watch these games tonight, Ben and I, we only healed if we were on death hook or if we were healing up to get someone from the hook or if we just finished a gen or the other survivor insisted. And we got out a whole lot since we've been doing this. I should have been tracking that. We've been getting out. The team has been winning more because we've committed to this idea of we're going to pressure gens. We're going to pressure gens. Someone is going to lose a lot. The previous night, I went 6-6. He went 4-8, but the team went 7-5. When you're committed to getting gens done, someone gets out. What are your thoughts, bro? I was talking to watchers that may or may not watch, but like, what do you think?
Yeah, no, well, that's the strategy that we've determined to adopt, and whether we're in the test phase, and the test phase is working because we went from there's a bunch of factors, right? But we did go through like 3.5 weeks or so of not a lot of, and that was playing with builds. We would help give us more survivability because I still maintain that we're just not going to escape a lot. It's just not going to. It was a good night for you, but I think it's an outlier. But if you are looking for and determine like, well, that's not good enough, just being the last two. Like we need to have the gens done and provide us an actual chance to escape. And so um, team's goal, yeah, is to attack the gens at whatever cost. If you have hooks to give, you attack the gen. And you attack the gens, and you attack the gen. And currently, or the course last, I've played a lot this week off, but I think starting last Saturday, Sunday, I think we did start to see them record. Specifically a big improvement.
You cut out there at the end. Specifically
just,
what?
Just specifically tonight, a big improvement for the team. But I don't know if that's again until we've played more games. I don't know if it's because this play style is improving our odds, or if because we run into a batch of survivors or killers who are. But right now, well, stops if we have a 2 and 12 night, then obviously, well, not one night, but if we run into a streak of nights like that, well, obviously it's time to reevaluate. And I hope we don't. Like, I hope like this is a thing. Well, it's not always going to produce wins. It'll at least promote. If we're at least doing it, maybe that'll promote with the other players. Like, well, shit, they're just really attacking those gens. I better attack the gens too. And if it's promoting that, and we're seeing more success of at least somebody getting out, things happening, then it's a feasible strategy to incorporate into how you're playing this game. But I will still never expect it. Like, again, I had a quote unquote losing night. Dead by Daylight would go like, no, you had a good night. So I did. So I'm always going to affirm that we should not expect to go on streaks.
No, I don't expect that either. I hope that's not what I was conveying.
No.
Yeah.
No, I'm just putting in I guess my whole explanation is that in order to continue playing this game, I have to keep reevaluating what I really want out of it. And nights like tonight, nights like really this week, I don't know. I think this whole week really had pretty decent nights.
Yeah.
And I have to
close
start
to
looking,
500.
Yeah, and I have to start looking at it like that, having decent night. I can't expect dominant nights. I can't expect, maybe I get lucky, have a 2-game winning streak. But those are what I should expect to be happy with. And so, yeah, if this is the strategy that right now, and I hope it's sound. It's a sound strategy. Of at least providing. Again, this was a rare night that you had You had a really good,
That is true.
yeah, you had a really, but going back, like you said, to, uh, I had a, a few nights ago, I had a losing record, you had a losing record, I had a winning record.
Yeah.
So going back to that as the basis of why we're doing this, right? Like, I, this is what we have to do to give someone an opportunity. And it
Hmm.
might not even necessarily be us, but
Yeah.
it provides an opportunity and makes the games currently, majority of the games, at least feel like we've done something, we've participated. Um, yeah, we're always going to have those games. We had those games where I think we both wish we hadn't played in them because we played really bad.
Hmm.
But that doesn't, that those games, those, 2, 3, 4 games here or there, it doesn't mean that the current strategy doesn't work. It just means we went up against a really good killer. A lot of
Hmm.
bad mistakes. Um, and I think there weren't a lot of 4-man deaths tonight. There were some, and that
Yeah.
uh, comes to mind right away. But I think in a lot of games, at least someone was getting out. You know,
Yeah.
so
And I think that when people are playing in a way that's like, hey, if I play in a way that enables someone to get out, I might be that someone and I might not be. But if I don't play to let someone get out, then absolutely no one gets out. And the thing I agree with, like, well, I mean, I agree with everything you said, but the thing that resonated with me was, you know, someone got out. Someone got out in most of these games.
yeah.
Um,
Now the hard part for you um, is when you're solo queuing. Again, going
mhm,
back to that is like you want to push those gens, but you're
mhm,
and let's push these gens.
mhm,
And we're not a full, can't survive with friends, but
mhm,
at least, yeah, you can pretty much, guaranteed that I'm going to try to do what I can to stick to the agenda, push the
mhm.
gens, and that's at least half of the team is now on that agenda. And sometimes
Mhm.
that's enough to get maybe a third guy going, yeah, you're right. Let's push those gens. Forget about healing.
Mhm.
And then sometimes you get like in all four. The other two have bought in, and I think that happened a lot. Has been happening a lot more. Um, versus the hey, let's heal every chance we get.
Yeah.
Because I mean that's the only thing I can contribute it to, unless again we just happen to find ourselves in this area where coincidentally enough our MMR is where it is, and they're like, no, we're going to pair you up with some really good survivors now. Um, it could either be that, or it could be our play style, which is encouraging others to go, you're right, let's get on these gens.
Mhm.
Let's get them done. And I'm going to choose to believe that for right now,
Yeah.
until things just completely fall apart and we find ourselves in 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games where, despite our best efforts, 1 or 2 gens are getting done because no one else wants to touch a gen. Right now,
Yeah,
it's
and
working.
that's, you know, it's working, and we are, whether we're motivating them or the other survivors are just switched on or whatever's going. For me, when I play solo queue, if I'm the one on the gen and I realize, like, yeah, I'm the only one doing gens, what happens to me lately is I'm like, okay, I'm not getting out this game. I'm not getting out, because if I'm the one on the gen, then it's not happening. And I try to point out, like, hey guys, notice, like, the game isn't progressing for the survivors. In order, like, the killer loses nothing if survivors aren't working on gens. The only time the killer is being pressured is when the gens are being pressured. If the survivors are like, I'm gonna hide around, like the killer might be like freaking out. He might be like, well, man, I haven't seen anyone. But if gens aren't getting done, then it doesn't matter if the first hook is in 1 minute or 10 minutes. If no one's doing gens, then the killer's got all day. And you also have to note that, most killers are like, oh, it's getting tight. Good thing I was kind of protecting this 3 gen. Now I can lock this 3 gen down, and I'm gonna be fine. So in those situations, again, that's why one of the things we've been doing, especially tonight, spawning the game and be like, cool, you get on that gen because any gen right now is good. But if you're gonna get on that, I'm gonna look for the 3 gen, and you'll see it. Like I remember one game, I jumped on a gen right away, and you were like, oh, hey, I found a 3 gen, I'm on it. So we
Yeah.
were already pressuring it, but I think the play style is true, but when you're in a game and you realize, I'm the only one in a gen, or even when I'm playing with you, when we're the only ones on gens, we probably already know how that game's gonna go. Like, nope, we're gonna do our best, but
No,
you
no.
know,
Again, that tonight was an odd night because there were times we were maybe the only ones on a gen, but other, if someone was in a chase, there is probably because it was a good chase,
yeah,
or the other individual just happened to be in the area, maybe finished a gen and is like, well, I'm going to stay in the area for the unhook. Like I noticed a lot of that. Like
yep,
times where we'd be on a gen, maybe shortly before that a gen was finished, chase was going, person goes down, and we can stay on our gens because that other person's like, I'm here, and
right.
we're able
Because
to.
if you're not on a gen, you're in a chase or you're getting the unhook, and there was a lot of that tonight.
Yeah, um, that's not always the rule. Um, it does, you know, we again, um, we've and a lot of nights where we get disconnecting, and we do go, well, we can't, we don't count those games,
That's true.
and I'm I'm less upset by those games. Like, all right, you disconnected. That's fine. I'm just gonna
Yeah,
whatever,
no, I've
right?
even I've gotten better at that. Like,
Yeah,
well,
yeah, and but then you get the other games, survivors who don't disconnect, but they pretty much are just throwing,
yeah,
um, you know, and those games too. I would just like to throw away. Like I go, well, you guys were out of it. You decided not to play anymore,
yep,
and you know, those are the ones. Yeah, without when we're the only two on a gen. There's 5 gens. We're working on 8 gens. We might get these 2 gens done, but those 2 are dead, and then we have 3 gens to do, and it's not going to happen.
mm-hmm,
It's a loss, and
yeah,
but nights like tonight, if we were the only 2 on the gen, I wasn't like, well, this is a loss. I'm like, well, yeah, but that guy's in chase, and that guy, who knows what he's doing, but he's been doing gens, he's been producing, he's been in chases, um, been doing things, or she.
well, the
So
the blight,
I felt less bad about
yeah,
most of the games tonight. Yeah, there were still some. You're right that if we were on gens, like, well, I'm the only one on a gen, and there's 5 gens left, and like, 6 hooks. Like, it's
yeah,
probably not going to happen in this one. Um, but tonight was the outlier that I didn't like. If you and I were on gens, I didn't feel like the game was lost because we were the only ones on gens. I'm like, no, it's just our turn to be on gens because the other doing.
yep.
And there were a
Well,
lot
I
of
mean,
times
tonight,
I remember calling out like there are 4 different gens going right.
right, tonight, like everyone was motivated on those gens, and that's the takeaway. I hope people see, like when they watch these sets of matches, like, man, look how often someone goes out. Now tonight, like, you didn't get out a whole bunch, but even then, like, and there were the Huntress game, I died, but I'm like, no, I'm gonna die because if you're not willing. So I knew I'm gonna get on this gen, I'm gonna get this gen done, and then I'm gonna die. I didn't know that 2 more people were gonna die, but I knew that gen had to go, and I could have, and so the I understand the desire, like, no, I'm in danger, I might die, I might lose. Yeah, you might. I knew I was gonna lose. I knew I was gonna die. But I also knew if I wasn't willing to be the one who died for this, and there's a time and a place. You can't like, we're 5 gens done. I'm in a back corner. I'm gonna die for this gen. That's a different situation. She was protecting that gen. She knew that gen was the difference between victory and defeat. And to her credit, she still won. But if I had decided to try to protect myself, maybe I live longer, but I still die. And that's, you, this game is weird because you have to be willing to be the one who dies. Because if each of the 4 players are, and even then when I talked about, hey, play a little safe, and you're like, no, I can't do that. I cannot play, or I can play. But if I play, I need to be on gens, because if I try to preserve myself by hiding or not doing gens or healing too much, then nothing happens.
Yeah.
And I get it. I get how scary it is. And I've had games where I'm in the middle of a thing and I'll be like, man, I'm doing it wrong. I'm healing when I shouldn't be, or I'm doing something else. So I fall for it. No one's perfect. But I affirm, and this week is the beginning of a week, and I think, and we'll have to communicate, okay, hey, we're on gens and that's great, but we're the only ones. So this is probably an easy loss, Now again, the swamp against the blight who was camping, that MVP ran that guy for like 4 gens.
Yeah.
But I'm not mad at her. She was doing her job. My affirmation is you're either in chase, on a gen, or getting ready to get the unhook. Those are the 3 most important things you can do. And if you're not doing one of those 3 things, maybe you're playing a different way, maybe you're enjoying it, but it is very unlikely anyone gets out if there are survivors, especially multiple survivors, creating a boon while no one else is on a gen. Now, if I'm on a 4-man SWF, hey, go ahead and set up the boon. We're on these gens. The rule we came up with, whether it was this week or last week, we talked about it. If 2 gens are getting done, you can do whatever you want. If 2 different gens are getting done, you're probably okay. But this game, I think that the reason this night went better was because everybody was on a gen unless they were in chase. Like the Wesker game I watched, we frog stomped him. He had like 4 hooks, and 2 of them came during the end game. We were crazy on gens. Like, we were swarming the gens like flies. And that Wesker had 4 hooks to show for it, no kills, and 2 of the hooks came in end game, and he wasn't going to get it anyway.
Yeah.
And I hope that this conversation is kind of doing that, because again, I can't persuade the devs to buff solo queue, and True Talent can't persuade the devs to nerf SWF. But if we can demonstrate and encourage and help other survivors to play in a manner like, I don't need to be on comms with you to do the thing that makes SWF so effective. What makes SWF so effective is, don't worry, I'm in chase, get on a gen. Don't worry, I'm doing this, get on a gen. Be on gens, or be in chase, or get set up to get this unhook. And if that becomes your mantra, whether you're in a SWF or whether you're in solo queue, the killer is going to lose more of those games. And then they'll buff killers and whatnot, and then everyone will be miserable, I guess. But
Yeah.
that is the theory we're currently testing.
Yeah.
Thank you all for joining us. This visual content has been utterly boring, And if you know how to on Xbox watch a game that you are currently streaming, like is this? Can I? Nope, I can't do that. Then please let me know because the discussion I think bears hearing, but we didn't really give you a lot. But I didn't want to start the conversation in a game because then I'm not doing gens, that kind of stuff. So thank you all for watching. Hope you'll tune in tomorrow, and we'll see you around.